Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. My wife, 37F, of 4 years cheated on me, and I, 31M, don't even care. My wife and I started dating 6 years ago. We dated for 2 years and have now been married for 4. Our marriage was good at the start, but everything went downhill about 2 years in. We started having arguments and fights over insignificant stuff that couples work through normally. But things kept piling up and kept going downhill. I always tried to work things out and communicate, but it was never really much reciprocated from her end. Despite us having arguments, I always wanted to work through them and thought that we were just going through a rough patch like most marriages do sometimes. But everything started really going downhill about 8 months ago. She started going out with her girlfriends 3 to 4 times a week and would frequently come home at 3 to 4 a.m. Every time I asked her what they did last night, she would get defensive even though I wasn't suspecting her of anything. This kept going on to the point I stopped asking or caring about it, and I started focusing more on myself by working out and putting in more effort at work. A couple of days ago, my wife sat me down to talk, which we hadn't really done in a long time. She told me that she messed up and that she slept with someone on a drunken night out. She started crying heavily and asking for forgiveness. She started telling me that she would do anything for me to forgive her, let me control her phone whenever I want, have her location on 24/7, and that she would never go out with her friends like that again. She kept going on and on about how sorry she was and how she wanted to repair things. But truth be told, I didn't really care. The weird thing is, this didn't affect me at all emotionally. I couldn't care less about her cheating. At most, I felt disappointed in her weak character that she was able to be unfaithful in the confinements of our marriage. I didn't even yell or have any emotional reaction at all. When she was done crying and begging, I just told her that it would be better for us to go our separate ways and that I would be filing for divorce. Nothing really more. If anything, her infidelity would help me out in divorce court. And ever since she told me, I have started thinking about future plans, going out again like a lot of my single friends do and dating younger women and just having fun. I'm in the best shape of my life physically and financially. This is probably my prime dating years for me, and I'm also making great progress in my career. In a way, I felt like I already checked out of my marriage before it ended because of how bad things were going, but I was still trying to hang on to something that was already dead. So in a way, her infidelity gave me closure about my marriage. I have already been in contact with my divorce attorney. We don't own a home together and have no kids, so we could finish it up fairly quickly. I just don't really get why I didn't react at all. I would have always thought that I would be broken if my significant other ever cheated on me in the slightest, but I guess that is not the case. Can someone relate to my experience or have any input on it? To the point I stopped asking or caring about it, and I started focusing more on myself by working out and putting in more effort at work. It seems like you checked out of your marriage at this point. You started refocusing the energy on yourself when you realized your wife wasn't letting you in on what was going on in her life or meeting you halfway to try on your marriage. You've been leading separate lives under the same roof for months. Usually when people are devastated by cheating, it's because they've been blindsided because their partner was betraying a relationship they thought was happy and healthy. This relationship hasn't been happy and healthy for years and has barely been a relationship. So it makes sense that her confession just lead you to fully accept, oh, this is actually over. Exactly, it gave me closure in a way. Focus on yourself and best of luck moving forward. It seems more like she ended it long before it was over. At one point he might have wanted to save it, but she didn't until the guilt was eating her alive. Show her this post if she tries to insist on reconciliation, so she can understand what happened. It may help her prevent going down this path again. Going through a very similar problem here, and this entire thread helped me out as well. Exactly this. They both checked out of the relationship. She did it when her life revolved around her friends and partying. For Op, it occurred when he realized he wasn't an important part of her life. They became essentially roommates. They will both become happier when they move on. Sorry to hear about this, it's rough, but the good news is that you don't have as many things tying you together, so you should be able to complete a divorce so you can move on and be happy in your life. Yeah, I think the divorce is going to go pretty smoothly. Seems like it should. It's a real bummer, but you are better knowing now than later on down the line when she ends up having kids that you question if they are yours or not, and all sorts of nightmare scenarios. While bad, this could have been much worse. Exactly, we can both move on with our life separately without too much deadweight holding us down. Seems like you have already checked out of the relationship before the cheating even happened. It didn't sound like that to me. 2 years into the marriage the fighting started. 8 months ago things started getting really bad by her going out 3 to 4 per week and not coming home until the wee hours of the morning. Sounds like she started cheating about 8 months ago and just confessed to him recently. Sounds to me you emotionally shed the dead weight a long time ago. Your marriage the last few years has really only been on paper, and at best friends in an arrangement. You both let it fall apart, and should really have sat down and done it years ago. It took infidelity to show you it was over. You didn't react to her infidelity, because you got a huge self-esteem and self-respect. Good job, my dude. Now enjoy your life as a single person once again. The opposite of love and passion isn't anger, it's apathy. You are at the opposite of love and passion. You are right that it's time to go. Saving this. To me it seems like you're over this marriage already. You've spent 2 years realizing she's not into making this work, so you've been done without even realizing it. When Elle broke up with my ex of 6 years, I cried one day and then I was done. I realized I'd been done with the relationship for almost a year. It just took some time to break it off. Move on, get a divorce and start being single and mingling if you want to. Thanks man. You deserve better than this. Put yourself first. Nice comment. I have the same experience. I told myself I will allow myself to cry just for one day, and then accept that we both checked out of the relationship a long time ago. You will find that if you focus on yourself, the sea has a lot of fish. Life should be fun, go live it. I was engaged and not married to a guy for 5 years before I finally left. By the time I finally left, I had checked out of the relationship for the last 2 years. He was always drinking, going out with friends, snapping other girls, on Tinder and more. When he tried to ask a mutual friend of ours out on a date, I thought it would hurt me and upset me, or at least wound my pride, but I genuinely did not give a shit. Neutral face, easiest breakup for me ever. I wish you all the best on getting free and living your best life. Party face. Go do all the things you couldn't before and maybe discover you like other things as well. Either way, just have fun with your life, we only get to live it once. Happy to hear everything worked out so good for you. I'll definitely enjoy this new chapter in my life. Had a similar experience when my ex-wife left and cleaned out the house. Literally just laughed, until this day I still don't really feel anything about that. Sometimes I even forget I was actually married. It sounds like this marriage has been getting more and more frustrating, and that you guys have pretty much drifted apart anyway. This incident was just the final straw. It sounds like going your separate ways is a good idea. Best of luck for the future, dude. Thanks my guy. The opposite of love is not hate, it's total indifference. Beautifully worded. I am more scared of someone feeling indifferent towards me than any other emotion. My guy, it sounds like you emotionally checked out when she stopped trying. I wouldn't worry too much about yourself. Just move on and live your good life. Forget her. In fairness, it sounds like you both checked out. Not even really sure why she's suddenly feeling bad about cheating. Going out multiple nights until 3 AM with girlfriends while you're doing your own thing is crazy to me. I don't blame you, just move on. This marriage is dead. It's hard not to feel guilty and emotional when you do something you know is wrong. Also, it was an actual action against him. As checked out as they both were, they loved each other once, and that was probably really overwhelming and emotional, especially as it was likely an act of impulse, intoxication, and self-sabotage, as the person above me said. I bet it was an act of self-sabotage. It was an act of self-sabotage and she instantly regretted it. However, it doesn't mean she's not ready for the relationship. I did this once before. Guy took me back and I broke up 6 months later. In retrospect, I should have accepted it was over then, or of course broke up with him before. It was a bad relationship all around. It didn't hurt you because you know your own worth, have invested in yourself and you know what you want out of a relationship. Leave the cheater in the dust and keep it pushing forward. It'll creep back up at one point or another. You'll remember certain things that weren't all that bad. You'll remember the fact that you weren't even emotional and resent that. You'll jump into your next real relationship and all the trauma will come flooding back in. Grief isn't so quickly defined or expressed. While you're at the top of your game, while you have the world ahead of you, while grief tries hard to catch up to your pace, please get therapy. Your apathy isn't a bad thing, but man, you've been through a lot of trauma in 2 years to the point of getting zoned out on it. Talk to someone about it so when the girl of your dreams comes into your life you are well-rounded. You are still on top of your game. And she'll do everything to keep you before even thinking of risking it or throwing it all away. This is exactly what I've gone through in my traumatizing 5-year relationship. It felt like it didn't matter at the moment. But the reality is I was being traumatized and it has started to resurface now that I'm removed from the situation. This happened to me. I just accepted it was over and prepared financially for divorce. You're only 31. Just clear your debts down. Sell all your shit. Keep things cordial with your wife. But prepare for separation. Exactly, I accept it and am moving on. Now I'm focusing on my future. The fact you didn't even care shows for me that you checked out long before she even cheated. It was for the best that you proceeded with divorce. If you were already done trying, there's no point in continuing it. You two just drifted apart. You're still young, so enjoy your life as you're doing now. I was like this when I got my divorce. I guess it's true, the opposite of love is not hate, but indifference. I kept trying to work things out with my ex, but he just didn't put up any effort anymore once we got married. I was sad and lonely all the time. Then suddenly I realized I enjoy my life so much it's better without him in it. He didn't give any value added to my life, not socially, not sexually, not financially. But I was afraid to divorce him. I'm afraid that I would regret it, that I just haven't tried enough, that my ex is actually a good guy. Because I read this article, I asked for a divorce because I took my husband for granted. Now I'm single, childless and miserable. I was hoping that he would cheat on me, so it would be easier on me because then the divorce wouldn't be because of my call. I tried to keep it together for 2 years, then I finally snapped and asked for a divorce. I didn't even cry one bit, just felt relieved, free. I never see him anymore since I asked for a divorce. Everything was done through an attorney. Never miss him. It's been 5 years and thankfully never get the regret. I don't know what kind of input you're hoping to find, but just want to share what happened to me too. Thanks for sharing your experience, and I'm happy things worked out so good for you. I'm also going to keep contact to a minimum and keep moving on with my life. Date women your age. Good for you. A lot of people wouldn't have handled this as well. I'm glad someone mentioned the date younger women comment. Same here. Maybe he meant to date younger women than 37, his soon-to-be ex-wife's age, but yeah, that comment rubbed me the wrong way, lol. It was straight up creepy, and he said it so casually. Yeah, not sure why he had to specify that he would be trying to date younger women as a woman. That disturbed me a bit. This comment skeeved me out so bad, Lamau. He is going to be in for a surprise. I'm a similar age as Op, and trying to get a date is just awful in my area. Thank God I wasn't the only one who thought that was really ducking creepy to say that so casually. I'm 31, so when I start dating again I'll naturally most likely meet women in their mid-20s to early 30s who are younger than my wife. Lol, you're in for a whole new mess if you think dating a mid-20s woman is going to work out well. Exactly. They are light years away from someone in their early 30s. A mature 25-year-old isn't that different from a 30-year-old. You guys are being ridiculous. That's not a crazy age gap. He's the younger one in a larger age gap here, but none of you had anything to say about that. My wife was 31 and I was 25 when we started dating, and that wasn't a problem to anybody. And look how compatible you two ended up being. Maybe to your face. I'm a 32-year-old woman and there would definitely be raised eyebrows at that. Dating someone maybe just starting to establish a career, and then doing the 3 to 4 years of not being sure in the workplace, etc. When you're established ideally and maybe thinking about kids. And quite frankly, your marriage didn't work out. Usually someone dates much younger due to immaturity, which is clearly what your wife was/is, and now you have to deal with a divorce. Why repeat the same mistake? A man being in a position to have preferences is shamed in society. Think about how many times you've heard a woman say, "I'm sick of all the men my age being so immature. I want someone older," and that's totally acceptable and championed as a woman knowing what she wants. The reality is this: if you're both legal then it's legal. But Emo, what you said about your age range of women being from 25 to their early 30s is best what you're looking for. It's just a very weird thing to specify. Why wouldn't you date someone your wife's age as long as they were a good fit in other aspects? We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.